coming in today to this short practice, which is designed for you and I to have a little look at how we respond to standing on one leg. And standing on one leg is so important, not just for the strength of the standing leg, but for your confidence, for maybe eliminating overwhelm and a kind of compulsive thinking mind. It allows you to really focus. Hi Paula, lovely to meet you here today. And of course, hello Sonia, welcome, welcome. So we're going to practice together, okay? So first thing I want to say is come into your standing position, which in yoga, of course, we call Mountain Tadasana, and in Pilates is really just that sense of connecting through strong open feet and toes, leveling off that pelvis, shoulders stacked above the hips. You might want to roll out the shoulders, especially if you've been at the desk all day or you've just rushed in from work, okay? So I think the first important thing to think about as you stand here now, maybe keep your eyes open or closed, is what kind of mood are you in? What's been going on for you this week? Because balancing is not just about the physical, it's also about kind of uniting the breath, the emotions. Maybe you're really physically tired and standing practice isn't ideal for you right now. Maybe you've got some big problems going on in your life or some stressors and you're emotionally wobbly. So let's bring some loving kindness towards ourselves, allow a few rounds of breath to come through and get a measure of what you feel like in this present moment. Sometimes if I'm super scattered, I like to bring a hand onto the belly or even one hand on belly and chest and just unite my mind, just join the mind into the felt sense of the breath, just for a few cycles. And as you do the same, as you bring yourself inwards to those breath cycles, perhaps you also bring your mind, body and breath to balance. So think of it that way as well, that balancing isn't always just about the physical act of standing on one leg, it's about finding that equilibrium in your being. Now, in my studio here, I'm lucky because I've got walls really close and they're really open and spacious. There's not a load of shelving on the wall, or you might have a table or chair near you. So remember, you can use a prop as a psychological support to all of your balances. But let's begin just by now picking up the ball of the right foot, pushing the ball of the right foot, I should say, into that. Pick up the heel of the right foot and trying to keep your hips really, really level. We'll bring the arms out and they're kind of softly lower than the shoulders. Press out in a T shape. Think about having a lovely extended, relaxed crown of the head, eyes to the horizon, and then float your knee away. Maybe take it out to the side and then release the foot and just tap the ball of the foot down. Let's try that again. So float the knee, it's the right knee floating. I'm just going to take it a little out to the side like an external rotation and then take it back down. And I can allow that to be sort of a kind of pausing on each stage and then relax it down, or you and I can allow that to become a hip circle. And if you are wobbling around a little bit, it's absolutely fine. Remember, we're just trying out some ideas. Both feet are grounded. I always like to come into a really soft, relaxed pelvic circle in between little moments of practice. So these are like little practice snacks. Okay, let's go into the second side. When we reach the arms out, whether we're touching our support lightly or whether we're just in the space around us, let's now float the left knee above the hip. Stay calm. Can you breathe in and out, open to the side? Can you take the leg down? Maybe you do this a few times. When that leg floats outwards, can you be aware of the engagement of the muscles through that standing leg? So, you know, there is that invitation invitation to be really physically aware. Maybe you turn that into a circle. Maybe you'd like to bring your hands into a different position. Maybe you tip over and you have to restand and reset. Try to have some fun with it. I wouldn't want you to be too serious and start berating yourself and criticising. So for me, for you, standing hip circles, really nice way of encouraging lovely mobile strength. Those core muscles are just hugging into that midline. And we can keep going. We can just do several. You can touch your wall or chair, start moving into those standing hip circles, and then when you're confidently centered and you feel, yeah, this is a great day for me, maybe bring the hands into the heart center and carry on. Okay, so finish the one you're on. Well done. Come back to standing. Now we're going to try something where we are holding on to the leg. Now what you may or may not be able to see, I'm not sure exactly what you can see in the screen, so I've got some words coming up in the bottom. I like to practice standing balancing. Sometimes I step off my mat and I practice on the wooden floor. So if you've got a really firm surface to practice on, I think that's helpful. I also think it's really helpful to look down at the feet and really angle them, spread them out, maybe bend the knees, so that you're getting that sense of foundational support through the feet that's coming up through the body. So as I said, we're going to try something a little bit different now. We're going to float the right knee, take that right leg into the right hand. By the way, you could take both hands round, couldn't you? You could do a few different things here. So we can bring hand underneath thigh, two hands around the leg. In yoga, there are some classically more challenging positions, like bringing both hands around the foot and then sort of reaching away, kind of like this, yeah? But you find what's right for you. Can you steady yourself? Inhale, exhale. Can you go with that flow? Maybe you can move the arm that is not holding that leg. So that brings a bit of dynamic challenge and energy into your standing balance. Like I say, there's lots of fancy things in yoga, like this. And if you tip over, it's absolutely fine. You tried. So, come back to that calm space. Maybe take another couple of breaths. Isn't it great that we've only got two legs? Because even if we're doing the shortest balance practice ever, we've only got to think about the right side and the left. But you know what? It's always good to re-practice the side that feels more challenging. So you might do 3 standing balances on the right hip leg, 2 on the left. Do you know what I mean? Okay, let's bring now strong energy, good focus and concentration. Really be aware of your breathing. Try to let that breath be a natural, calm rhythm. I'm just again going to float the left knee towards the hip, hold the leg, might take it out to the side a little bit, and then extend the arm, almost as if I'm holding a wall or pressing the palm onto a surface. I could take the arm overhead. I might be able to do something more challenging, like hold my foot and reach that leg away. You be in the position that feels appropriately active and easeful for yourself. Gaze into the midline. Give yourself a little smile. Can you stay for a few more seconds? If you're bending, changing position, maybe you think again about, woo, circling that arm. And if you twist and take your gaze somewhere different, that again adds an element of challenge. Remember to enjoy your practice and always to let yourself take a moment to calmly breathe in between. Okay, so finally today, and thank you Tracy for joining me as well. I can't see all the names, I'd have to keep popping forward and back and I don't want to waste your time. Finally today, if you've got a yoga block at home or a yoga brick, you can use this as something to have as a slightly unstable surface. So we're going to place our block or brick on the floor, step the right foot on, start to become comfortably centered. Maybe you bring your hands just around the hips and pelvis and sense within that zone that you are corseted, that you feel relatively strong. What I'm going to do is just lift the leg behind me. Might have to bend the knees a little bit. And then take that left leg that's behind me, take the left foot into my palm, roll the shoulder back. Remember, you can have your right foot leg just standing on the carpet, on the practice mat. I'm standing on the block, it's just a different idea. And then I'm going to reach the right arm forward. Thank you, wall. And then push that foot into the palm and create a little bit more space around that left shoulder. Bring the hands into centre. And I was going to say, add a second balance. Bring now that left leg across the right leg and imagine sitting into a high chair. And then you can rest, step off that block, maybe give your ankles a little circle. And remember that if you were joining me in that one and you were using a slightly different surface to stand on, remember this is all about practicing your concentration, your focus, your inner strength. These are just ideas. So if you're following along with me, thank you. We're going to place the left foot now onto the different surface. Restack the shoulders above the hips. You might have to soften your knees a little bit to either hold your right foot in your right hand, rolling the right shoulder back. Maybe you lift the left arm up beside your ear, or again you bring your left arm out to the side. You can stay fully centered or even consider tilting your pelvis. And you know what that does is it brings you into more of yoga dancer pose. Another way of looking at that balance is simply to take your back leg behind you so you're bringing your right hip into extension. Another little tip, sometimes I find people really look down at the floor and that becomes a very unbalancing place for the posture. So if you are looking in the horizon, how about bringing the gaze up a little so that you're just looking to the point where the wall meets the ceiling. Allow yourself to breathe all the way through. And then let go. Bring both feet onto your mat or back onto the ground. Let's interlace the fingers. Turn the palms away. Take a full body stretch. Come into a little side bending. And then release your arms. Close your eyes. Remember that you showed up today to practice, and your body, your mind and your breath, your emotions thanked you for finding some equilibrium in your busy life. And thank you so much for being